Hello and welcome to a Game Pit podcast pit stop for Dragonsgate College, designed by Vande, Ginste and Wolfe Plancke, published by NSKN Games. In Dragonsgate College, over 5 rounds, players are competitively going to be drafting dice and assigning them to actions on the board in order to run the most successful adventuring school looking to train novices to become warriors, rogues and wizards. Harry. There are neutral and coloured dice in the pool according to player colours. When you take a neutral dice, you choose an action according to the number on there, goes in the used dice pot, and that's the end of a turn. If you choose the coloured dice off another player, you both get to assign that dice to an action, and then that player gets to assign that dice to an action. It need not necessarily be the same one. So what can you do? Well, you can use a 1 to throw neutral dice out of the pool, put your own dice in play, and that will give you more actions when players choose that particular dice. You can simply use dice to claim some money. You can then use that money to claim some victory points, obviously attempting to win the game. You can use a dice to start to build buildings. Now, when you try and build buildings, they come in different sizes, which cost different amounts, and they give you various benefits. For example, this one is going to push you up in how you train wizards, and it's going to give you room for more professors to be in your staff. There are other effects, because buildings always cost maintenance at the beginning of a round. Some of them knock your maintenance back down again. Some of them will give you income, and some of them will give you additions to endgame scoring, for example, having extra novices. Other actions you can take on the board, well, you're going to need to draft some novices into your house in order to train them up. And to train them up, you may well need some professors as long as you've got room for them. So why are you doing all this training up? Well, you're going to want to send your novices out to become trained. There are 3 different classes as mentioned, and as long as your novice has got a mount in the prime requisite of that particular class, be it in magic, in stealth or in brawn, you can train it up to take one of the spots that hasn't been taken yet. They come in levels 1, 2 and 3, with levels 2 and 3 having requirements that you've trained certain things beforehand. When you do train up a novice to become an adventurer, you're going to get certain bonuses. For example, if you train up a wizard, you're going to get access to wizarding cards to play during the game, and they'll have various effects such as change a dice value, draft an extra novice, reduce your maintenance, move up on tracks around the board, or an extra trophy for some endgame scoring. But whenever you play one of these, there's always a benefit at the end that all the other players are going to get. When you train up a rogue, you get to move up on the stealth track. When you train a warrior, you get points or coins, and you're also going to get a trophy, which you're going to keep because that might be some endgame scoring for you. As well as that, each column has got an additional benefit on there, be it coins, points, or possibly imps, and you use imps to mitigate the values of dice. There are a couple of other things you can do. Down here is a turn order track. You can assign a dice to that to attempt to take first place, otherwise first player is just going to go clockwise around the board. On rounds 3 and 5, there's a combined dice that comes into the pool. Anyone can choose that dice, but when they do choose it, every player gets to select an action from that number. You might want to go out onto the adventuring track, for example, into the training dungeon, which will give you benefits as you do it, and there's a race to first to score some points. After you've done this for 5 rounds, there's a bit of endgame scoring for having money left over, and imps, and the most novices and professors and buildings for having collected the same sort of trophies or different trophies, for being first on the stealth track, for winning this race in the training dungeon, and you're going to lose points for any empty spaces left within your house on here. That has been a Game Pit podcast pit stop for Dragonsgate College. For more videos like this, please subscribe to the Game Pit YouTube channel. Head to the Game Pit podcast for more in-depth coverage of games.